We all come into this life with a certain level of knowing, and for what we don't yet know, we seek to learn and experience. In this Know Our Soul series, we explore spiritual teachings to enlighten and empower us to live a life of our choosing. This is Know Our Soul. Hi, I'm Lisa Hromada, and welcome to Know Our Soul. This week we explore the fascinating chapter in Love is a Seed on the human body and personality as soul. It's a chapter in which the souls and wise ones speak about what it takes for our soul to come into human form, our relationship to energy, how the personality then forms once we're born into this life, and how it relates back to the soul through the greater self. In the session entitled Transfer of Soul and the Human Fetus, the souls and wise ones say that all life is energy. I don't often think about life in this way, as energy, yet when we understand the workings of energy and how it relates to our soul and how it relates to our life in human form, we have access to many more avenues for healing as well as creating a more fulfilling life. Because according to these souls and wise ones, everything and everyone is made up of energy. The souls that make up our human body are energy. Thoughts are energy. The soul is energy. And they say each work in various frequencies. There is something especially fascinating about this chapter. In it, they share the general story of our birth, how we come into this life, how we form our personality, and how we experience this life. They make reference to why we experience feelings of unease, anger, confusion, and other similar emotions in response to the events that happen in our life. So I'll share my perspective on how they explain this. They say that for your soul to come into human form, it does so through an adjustment process. It must adjust the frequency of its energy, which is a gradual change in frequency, vibration, and pitch as a whole entity, to be able to allow the human body to function and to bring life to the human body. You may have heard that for a soul or spirit to make contact with those on earth, they must slow their energy or the frequency of their energy down to match more of the energetic frequency of those on earth. So this is what must happen to a soul to come into the human form as well. It has to adjust its frequency. The formation of life is incredible. We learn in Notebook 38, documented in Love is a Seed, the amazing workings of how the soul comes into this human body, when and what happens while your soul is preparing to enter. The way they explain it in these sessions in Love is a Seed is that while your soul prepares itself for the human body is conceiving and being formed based on the genetic history of the family you're born into for this particular incarnation. Then your soul gives life to the body at a chosen point of entry by focusing a free will personality in the body. This point of entry, I've heard, can be various chakra points within the body. This is done through imagining and thought visualization on the part of the soul. So then, why does your soul come into human form? It was said that your soul comes for purpose, love, understanding, evolution, and to create. It comes to be a part of the order which exists in all things. Once we are here, then, it is our responsibility to take care of our human body, be a part of a family, society, and function according to various other orders. The orders that they talk about, I can expand on in other videos, but to summarize, what they mean by order is that there's an order or a rule or specific process to all things. There's an order in which something evolves, and an order to a family dynamic, an order to the way that the human body is created and functions. Also in this chapter, they speak about the greater self, that once we are in this human life, our evolving personality is intrinsically connected to a greater self. And this greater self is a part of us that is connected to our true self as soul and to the divine love from which we all come. This greater self helps us to navigate through the ups and downs of this life and strives to help us make sense of our existence here. As personality, we go through this life not only with ideas and concepts set forth by society, but we go through it trying to understand deep-seated thinking that is sometimes at conflict with what our soul or our greater self is aware to be true. Let me tell you what I mean by this. There is often an inner conflict that happens within the personality part of us when our external world is having us believe or do something that goes against what our greater self or our soul knows to be true or right. Just think about what you see on the news, what society or those in government are talking about, or the actions that people are taking sometimes. We as soul are constantly striving to understand the truth of love here in this life. So when we see or experience things that go against what we innately know to be true about love, love being kindness, patience, compassion, understanding, and so on, we experience an inner conflict which leaves us as personality in a place of turmoil for which we need to find our way through. This is the complexity of this life as one of many divine learning schools according to the sessions with Spirit documented in Love is the Seed. I believe what it comes down to is this. Your soul will always try to call you back to the love behind all of your experience and the purpose behind all of your experience. The question is, are we willing to hear that voice? Are we willing to listen to that voice within us? If we choose to ignore that voice of our greater self or never learn what our soul intended to learn or experience upon coming into this life, again, there's always a purpose for coming into this life, then we are not living to our fullest potential simply because we are allowing ourselves to be influenced by our external environment instead of listening more to our inner voice. It is only when we are true to ourselves that we can be of our highest benefit for others as well as ourselves and create a world in which we want to live in. As stated within this chapter, it's not up to the next guy, but up to each one of us to create the brotherhood which we all talk of. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. I'm really fascinated by this chapter, and I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences as well. What do you think about this relationship between soul and personality, or perhaps how or why you as soul chose to come into this life? I'd love to hear from you. Be sure you leave a comment or question below, or you can message me through Twitter or Facebook. I'll share those links below as well. Next week, we explore the chapter Jesus Speaks, so you won't want to miss that. As always, relax in the knowing, and thank you for joining me on Knower Soul.